Hello there. Good evening. Uh, How's it going? I um I hope everyone out there is well. Um it's clear skies here tonight, so doing a live stream. Hopefully originally it looked like we were going to have 7 or 8 days of clear weather, but now it looks like Sunday and Monday night might be cloudy. But otherwise it looks pretty clear for quite a few days. So um hopefully I'll be able to have a few live streams. Um, One thing, I had some network issues earlier, so hopefully I won't have any tonight. But if I do, uh, you've been, that's, I was going to say you've been warned, but just a heads up. Mark Young, hello. How's it going? Thanks for joining. Hi, Seiko. Good evening, or good day for you. Thank you for joining. And hi, Dark Shades. How are you all doing tonight? Um, so I as as always I have the two telescopes outside. I have Seestar Alp running, and this will be interesting because there've been a huge amount of changes uh, to the program to the project this week that I really haven't been involved with so much. I've mostly been working a little bit on live view, and I added another new feature that I'll be showing tonight. But and I'll probably be enhancing it a little bit tonight because I've been meaning to add some things to it, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. It'll probably evolve over the next few days, but some of the things I'll make note of the things that are new that aren't committed yet. But one of the neat new things is Federation finally, not finally, it's gotten to the point now where it was merged in this past week, and the chat sometimes gets hung up when I try to dismiss it. So Federation, which basically today allows you to have more than one Seestar controlled from a single scheduler. A lot of people don't have that right now, but one of the nice things about it is it kind of also internally simplifies some things. Like we had this explicit offline mode, and this will kind of allow that to be deprecated, or maybe it's already gone. So basically, you can go add things to this federated scheduler, even if you only have a single telescope, and then it'll get sent to the one or more telescopes. Now, it has a couple of different modes where you can either send the same thing to to multiple telescopes, or in the case of like a mosaic, you can, like if it's a 2-panel mosaic, you can split it across your telescopes. So you can send one panel to one telescope, one to the other, and it supports both modes. I haven't tested it yet. Others have, but I have not, and so I will be testing it tonight. I did briefly use it. Let me go to the screen. Um, Let me see. Sometimes this acts up here, where it kind of loses its connection to the switcher. We'll see if this will work, because unfortunately, oh man, don't tell me. My network is my wireless might be glitching. It's actually kind of an opposite problem from what I used to have, where where it was pretty robust up here, but connecting to the telescopes was slow. Now it's kind of where it's the telescopes have a good connection to the access point, but the access point sometimes loses its connection to the rest of the network. And I'm trying to wait for this thing to come back, and hopefully it will, because I need this thing to be working so I can at least share my screen. Now, what's interesting is my streaming goes on a completely separate, not a separate connection to the network, but it's on like a wire. It's on the wired network, and so it doesn't have these wireless issues. So the streaming seems to be working. It's just my ability to talk to the talk to things is having problems. And what's interesting is, yeah, my laptop's having problems with the network. So let me try something here. Hold on. The good thing is I can change networks on my laptop without losing the connection to the internet, or without breaking the stream. Okay. Wiley site, ahoy ahoy, hello, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. Let me try to, oops, wrong view. Let me quickly try to go to this view. So hopefully this will be stable. What's interesting is it lost its connection, but I switched networks, so let me restart the back end. Yeah, that's, I need to work on that. I got part of the network better, and of course, some of it is now more fragile. I just moved the problem around. So here you have the view you've always had, more or less. This is kind of the home page. It shows both telescopes because I have the two set up. One thing that has changed pretty recently, the last couple of days, is Wiley site. We had a bunch of menu items up here, and it was starting to get a bit crowded, and especially if you were running on devices with smaller screens, it was kind of a problem. So he reorganized this where you now have a drop down with all these the different commands. Now under telescopes, you had like I had before, A and B, but now there's this federation mode. And one thing that's kind of interesting about that is, am I having network things again? That's funny. Okay. Hey, sorry. So anyway, with the, I'll show it in a moment. With the federation, you can, what I did earlier is previously I would go point both telescopes kind of initially to a specific target just to start, horizontally calibrating it. I actually was able to do it in federation mode just by doing a go-to command, and it sent the go-to to both telescopes, and they both went to Altair, which was nice. So apparition, the preview time to 1 millisecond, and the settings dialog changed to enable disable. That is a bug, and that's not great. The only thing I can think of, let me see, preview time. Let's look that up. Here's the code. Sorry, where is it? Yeah, those are not great kind of bugs where you end up changing something and then so I think maybe somebody can chime in the chat, but there's now the ability, if you're running a recent version, to specify some initial parameters. If you go, like, theoretically, you should be able to change the preview time here. Although I would think it would apply it. Theoretically, if you, this is the example config file. If you were to add it to your config file, the config.toml, and under Seestar initialization have like exposure length preview MS, you should be able to set it to a different value. So let me see if I can do that. I'm going to set it to a higher value just to see if that works. And before I do that, hello, Chris Makes. Thanks for joining. So let me go restart. So it should error. This will probably error out in a second. And then I restarted it. Okay, it failed because it's restarting right now. Okay. So let's go look at, it's on telescope A. And if I go to settings, it's only set to 500. Why is it only set to 500? It should be set to 1,000. Maybe that's not setting. Let me look. I don't know if anybody else has run into that issue before. Yeah, it's the default, but I changed it. Oh, sorry. I changed it in the example file, which isn't being used. So this is mine. Sorry. Okay, so I set it to 1,000. Let me restart. Oh. That's interesting. Okay, it's back up. Does it not send it? Because it should have sent it. Should have said, because that's the initialization. Yeah, that didn't change it. Sorry, let's go look. Does it actually? Does it not actually do anything with that? That is weird. I thought it should. It should. Unless, hold on, maybe it's not. Wait. An incorrect value? Oh, setting variable name is wrong. That would do it. Okay, so let's look at what it is. It is exposure length preview MS. Exposure length. I'm confused because I did have it set to exposure length preview MS, which is what the code claims. Oh, did you? Oh, okay. I mean, because I pulled down the latest version of the code like minutes before the stream, just because I like to live dangerously, I guess. Oh, okay. Sorry, there's all this chat going on or Wiley sites. So the stack was missing MS. Okay, but still. Oh, I see that yeah, it's missing the MS there. Okay, but that doesn't explain why. Okay, yeah. So this is exposure, right? That should be MS. But if you send the problem that Apparition is having, the preview time was set to 1 millisecond and can't set it back. So I thought, well, maybe if we set it in the initialization screen here, it would fix it without having to go through the GUI, because that sounds like a GUI bug to me. I didn't actually edit this code, so I don't, let's see, init. So this is the Seestar device. Oh, okay. So set setting, it init expo preview, the initial exposure preview in milliseconds should get set. Yeah. So let me go, let me just focus on one telescope at a time, just for simplicity. Sorry. So let's go ahead and restart. I'm going to restart. And okay. It started up. But if I reload this, this number did not change. But did it actually change? So let me go look at, let's go look at live. And okay, oops, not sky, star. Now, one change I've made that's only local, I actually, I have like an event log. Okay, so this is whatever setting this is. So let me go look at, let me change this value to like 10 seconds. And we'll see, or actually let's go the other direction, set it to 100. So it should end up getting a lot dimmer. I shouldn't be able to see as many stars. So let me restart that. Because either it's not setting it correctly or the that settings page is pulling the wrong value. Maybe it's not pulling the value from the telescope. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but I'm just trying to rule that out. Doesn't feel like that's less stars. Sorry. So it's, yeah, no problem. I mean, because that's a problem. Like if you set a value and then the UI switches that and you can't get it back, that's kind of a problem. Oh, thank you. Wait, startup sequence. Okay, fine. Let's try going. So maybe it's just a me problem. Oh, so I get to show off another new improvement. There have been some changes to the command screen, again, courtesy of Wiley site. This was kind of like a long screen with all these different things, and it's kind of been restructured. And so let me go ahead. I'm just going to hit execute on this. And it has a fancy pop-up here now. So I'm going to proceed confirm. And is it actually doing something? Let me see. Oops. Looking at my all sky view, seeing if it's okay, it's moving. So this is the one. I think this is, well, that doesn't make sense because it's actually, yeah, no. It should be this one that I moved. This one, I think. Is it moving? Actually, what I need to do is, actually, let me go look at settings here real quick. Oh, yeah, it's set to 100. So yeah, that should work. So apparition, yeah, the command doesn't return anything. Recent version. So theoretically, you should be able to set the exposure length. So like, you should be able to do something like this. Well, that's two different lines. You should be able to put that in your config toml. You should be able to start it up, start up Seestar Alp, run the startup sequence, and it should set the value to whatever you put it to. So theoretically, it should undo that setting. And if it doesn't, let me know. Because and plus, let me open an issue, because really it should also, it shouldn't change that dialog. So let me see. Let me see, new issue, settings for exposure to 1 millisecond, breaks UI. It appears that if you set the exposure, the preview exposure 1 ms, the UI won't let you edit it anymore. Yeah. And I think I know why it's doing that, but actually let's see if I can look at the code, see what it's doing. Sorry, it's need to delete that. Yeah, okay. Oh, right. Yeah, midday Friday here. Yeah. Well, happy tomorrow. Yeah. The menu work looks nice. I agree. Wiley Site did some great work on that. He's been on a mission. Yeah. So there have been a few other things. I don't know if I showed them off last time. Yeah, definitely trying to put some polish on it. One other thing that went in recently, I don't know if I showed it last live stream, is this support page where you can describe a problem, and then when you click download bundle, it'll actually zip up like your log files that are from your local install of Seestar Alp. So then you can share it with someone, one of the developers, and some people have, I think we've been able to troubleshoot some errors using that, but it just kind of helps make it easier. And it's also useful, like if you're running on a Raspberry Pi where it's not as convenient to go grab the log files off of it. What else? Actually, has this been merged? Has the config change been merged? Yes, it has. So there's a kind of a brand new UI to be able to edit the configuration file. So that file that I had showed, see the exposure preview in milliseconds. Let me make a backup of my file. Not that I don't trust it, but I do trust it. But I'm just trying to be careful, especially considering I haven't used this feature before. Okay. So actually, if I go, let me change this back to 500 milliseconds and hit save. And if I go bring up here's the config toml file. Look at that. I did not actually even edit that. Actually, because this IDE will auto reload files. Let me, oops, dang it. Did not mean to do that. What did I just do? Okay, let's do this and this. And let me go change this to, so I set it to, wait, I thought I set it to 100. Maybe it's, but let me go change it to 1,000. Look at that. That's kind of cool. Now I think it's not refreshing it internally, but I can go 2,000. And there you go, 2 seconds. Awesome. Yeah. Okay, the config page makes a backup. Cool. Piper Floyd. Hi. If you go into settings, you can go change this value right here to a higher value. So actually, let me restart because I've got I'm doing development and testing out some code I haven't even run yet. Like I say, I literally pulled the latest version of the code just before the live stream. Okay. So it is, I'm going to have to restart it again to get the other telescope back, but okay. So why does it say 100? Oh, because I changed it to 100 on the telescope. But yeah, you just change it here. And so I'm going to change it to 2 seconds and hit save. And then once you've saved it, I guess it doesn't get applied until the telescope starts up. Okay, yeah, sorry. I went into that explanation and you found it, so never mind. But yeah, let me, actually what I'm going to do, I am going to, sorry, I'm kind of messing around here. Let me go to commands. And because I've been, yeah, actually it does apply right away. Now that you mention it, so it should, if I go to, what did I do? I think I did something weird. Oh, sorry, I was like, did I stop it? No, it's running. Okay, so now it's bringing up. And if I bring this up and I split screen it, add split view, localhost. By the way, I may have figured out one of my issues with running two of like multiple Seestar LP windows at once, going at different telescopes. There's I think there's a bug that, not a bug. I think there's some things that need to be fixed internally that are made worse by having more than one telescope. But part of the issue, I think, is there's a limit on how many requests a browser makes at one time. And I think I'm exceeding that because some of the requests are taking a while to run or they're hanging because they need to be fixed. And they average, maybe that's why most people aren't running into these issues that I pretty consistently run into. So I'm going to go look at this. I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to change this. It's set to 2 seconds. Let me set it to 5 seconds. Why not? And so theoretically, I should start seeing, will it actually change? Is that actually a noticeable change? Maybe it doesn't. Oh yeah, I think it did. I just changed it. I'm changing it to half a second, so it should get a lot dimmer. If indeed, oh yeah, sorry. That may have been too loud, but yeah, see, you can see it it changed the exposure pretty quickly. So I'm going to go back to 2 seconds just for now. Cool. And then it should kick in. And any moment. There it is. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. Back to the chat. All right. Cool. So, what else? So that was kind of, this is kind of a work in progress. This is kind of something I added so I don't have to look at all of this, like these log entries going by. And it's, if I have multiple telescopes, they're all kind of jumbled together. This is just, oops, grabbed the wrong window. Sorry about that. So this is just a kind of a subset of some, or it's just the events that kind of come back from the telescope, and it as they arrive. And there's some other things that come back that aren't in this view, but it's kind of a work in progress. What else changed? So if we go to Federation, well, Live View doesn't work with Federation, but GoTo does. So earlier, like I was saying, I typed in Altair, like I picked Altair here and hit GoTo, and it caused both telescopes to point at Altair. Yeah, that should work. You're right. Having two different browsers, it's the limitation is a single browser hitting a single website, and it's only HTTP 1.1. 2.0 doesn't have that issue, or has a much higher issue limit. But then there's restrictions. Some browsers require you to have HTTPS when you're using HTTP2. Anyway, it's something that I think that might be my problem, but anyhow. Let me go back and restart with both telescopes enabled, because I had disabled one of them just. And one thing I did, so if you saw the last live stream, I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna do it tonight, but I added some code to the imager where it will save subframes. So maybe I will. I don't know. Let me look. Let me look here. I'm bringing up a file manager so you can see what it looks like. Maybe I do. Maybe I will do it. No, I think I'm going to skip it. But it's turned on at the moment. Please bear with me while I'm looking something up off screen. Okay. So here is the Seestar ALP directory where I have all my stuff running, and I have all these subframes being saved. It's saving them as we speak. And so long as the preview was running, the live view, it was saving frames. And actually, we should be able to see where it changed the brightness. It's drifting. Yeah, see, look, you can see as I changed the exposure, the subframes. So like these were the subframes, and then it's drifting because I haven't done the horizontal calibration yet. But then see it got brighter. See how it got brighter between these two frames, and then it got much dimmer, and then I increased it back again. And so it's continuously saving these subframes. And last live stream a few days ago, I actually, I compressed all these, but I I had a few different targets where I was recording the subframes, and I live stacked it in Serial, but I'm not going to do. I don't think I'm going to do that part tonight, um, because I want to test out the some of the mosaic functionality here. So let me see. I want to. So there's a flag, but it's in code of save frames. So I'm going to turn off save frames just for now. By the time I commit this code, it'll be a setting and where you can do that. So let me restart. And okay, I've restarted. Let me go back to the home screen. Oh, and see, if you pay attention, if you notice, the telescope number is usually 1 or 2. Well, Federation adds a new 0, telescope 0, which is kind of the federated one. So I'm actually going to go to, and I'm going to have it re-go to Altair. And actually, let me make sure Altair's not too high in the sky now. Maybe Altair's not the best one. I want to pick one that I can actually do the calibration with. So let me pick ENIF. It's a NIF. Which one's that one? I'm going to try ENIF. I like the name. So ENIF. ENIF, I tell you. Submit. Oops. Did not mean to do that. I typed ENIF, but I didn't look up the coordinates, so it ended up going to... Anyway, let me go... And what am I going to go to? I want to go to the live view. And there's a reason why I'm typing it in directly. It's because of my local copy. Yeah, I've made some changes. Anyway, so let me go look at this version. Okay. All right. It says ENIF, but again, like I say, it's not going to ENIF. It's going to Altair. So it's running. Auto go to preview. Yeah, changing browser doesn't matter. Yeah, but I think the problem is I feel like it's, for me, my particular setup, it seems to happen more frequently. The browser getting confused, or things getting confused or locked up because of that 6 connection limit, I think. But I think that's part of my problem. Only part of it. I have other problems, but okay, working complete. Let's see. It's running. And it's interesting. It'll just randomly tell you the temperature. Scope go to plate solve. So it's still. Did it finish plate solving? Oh, plate solving failed on that one, which isn't unusual. I wonder if I tell it to go to ENIF, the actual ENIF. Let me try that. So I'm going to look up ENIF. Okay, different coordinates. Let's try that. So I told it to go to ENIF. Now will it actually... do that. Working. Exposure auto go to, I think it is. We'll see. Let me take a sip of water. But yeah, tonight what I want to do is, once I get these calibrated, I plan on testing out some of the federation. So I plan on imaging mosaics or doing a mosaic, and yeah, I think I'm going to try doing a mosaic. And I'll be, unless things change, I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow. And I plan on doing the saving of the subframes locally and do stacking locally. Part of the reason I didn't want to do it tonight is see, there we go. I only did go to once. Of course, I don't know that this is a NIF. I think it actually went ahead and went to, I think it ended up going to Altair after all. Hey, Cheap Astro. Welcome. Thanks for joining. No doubt you'll miss the mosaic again. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a little behind tonight because I had kind of I just pulled down the latest version of the code, but tomorrow night I'll probably start imaging sooner. I mean, once the live stream starts. So now if I go to commands, oh, hi Marco. How's it going? Thanks for joining. So Wiley site, well, yeah. Yeah. Oh, Tech Gamer, hello. Thanks for joining. So how do I tell it to start? Is there a way to start imaging from here? No. No. See, I don't think we have a command for that, do we? Wiley site? A command to start imaging. Okay. Oh, what am I thinking? Okay. Okay. I forgot. I actually did add start imaging. This button actually does it. I don't know why I forgot. I guess I've been kind of caught up in some other things recently. Okay. So it's probably it's going to start doing the horizontal calibration. So the image might kind of go weird for a bit. It won't be able to horizontally calibrate because if it's pointing at Altair, it's too close to a building, so it'll probably fail. But at least it'll hopefully be a little better. And so once, yeah, adding imaging there would be kind of handy. So speaking of things that I just did, not only did I pull down the latest version of the code just moments before the stream started, I'd pulled it down earlier this evening, and I'd seen that there'd been a few more commits, and so I pulled even newer code down, and then but I also was making changes, like this event list here I added just less than half an hour before the stream started, so luckily it's working. Hello Turf, good evening. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, so this is starting to image. This is doing the dark library. I bet it failed. One thing I don't have right now is it doesn't it just keeps adding to the list. It has no scroll back right now. But I will definitely fix that before releasing this functionality. Okay, so the stacking is starting on this one. This one's still doing the 3-point alignment. Yeah, so once this kind of runs for a little bit, just a few moments, I plan on, I do have some targets. One thing somebody mentioned on, I think as a response to some community post I made, they reminded me, and I'll remind everybody who has may have forgotten about it, because I certainly had. There's going to be the comet is, what's the name of it? This one. Yeah, this one is 2023 A3. Is it was going to be getting brighter towards the end of September, and we're getting towards the end of September. So right now it's in the morning sky. So I plan on, I hope to get up tomorrow morning to try to see it. But yeah, apparently in the southern hemisphere it's better. I mean, I'm kind of in the southern US, so I figured that I might be able to see it. But nice. Doing a 3x5 mosaic of Andromeda. I'll run it all night. That's great. Yeah, super close. The comet's super close to the horizon, at least here. But if you're in the southern hemisphere, you should definitely give it a try. Because it has the potential to be a very bright comet. Yeah. 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 But there's always that risk that it might have. Yeah. You should always, if you can see it, you should definitely try for it. And right now it's more southern hemisphere, but if you have a good clear horizon and you're in the northern hemisphere, at least in the south of the northern hemisphere, it would be worth trying. Got EQ mode working finally. Great. Congratulations. That's great. Yeah, I still need to do that. Maybe we've had kind of this cloudy, rainy pattern, and hopefully sometimes in the winter when we have cold fronts come through, it'll clear out all the clouds for like days. And I'm hoping once I have a few back-to-back nights, I'm gonna try out EQ mode. I hope to give it a try. Yeah, that would be good. Hopefully you get some good weather and can see the comet. That would be great. Okay. Aren't you going out to dark skies tonight or this weekend, Wiley Sight? Oh, warm, dry winter. I'm not thrilled about the warm. Well, better than our version of cold, which can be cold for us. Oh, okay. Next weekend. Okay. No, but that's cool. That would be cool to see. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's always I guess that's always my concern, especially if it's. I mean, it can even happen with more established comets, but particularly if it's a new visitor, sometimes they don't make it the first perihelion. So let's see what these are up to. Okay. That is, oh, that did not, it failed. It failed. Now this one is actually stacking. It's just having a horrible drop frame rate. I think it didn't do the calibration. Let's see if this actually moved. Whoa. It's a bit of a lag there. Let's see if it stops. Okay, I'm going to try record again on this one. So this is good. It's actually, this one's actually imaging. So the first target I'm going to go for is, let's see. I'm reading my notes that I had made earlier today. Veil Nebula. Yeah. Actually, let me look at how far up in the sky. Bortle 2 skies and a new moon. Awesome. Wow, 214 stacked and 3 failed, as opposed to my 9 stacked, 16 failed. That's not good. Batting, I'm not doing great. Batting 38, 380, whatever. Okay. So what I wanted to do is see, let me make sure it's current time. Okay, we're on the current time. And we are going to look up Veil Nebula. That is way too high. It is 85 degrees, and the Seestar it's not happy that high. So that is a no at the moment. Let me see if I can, sorry, yeah, that's the problem is I really need to do that. If I do the Veil Nebula, I'm going to have to do that first thing tomorrow, like first thing, because by 9:30 it's too high in the sky. Because the Seestar doesn't like it when it's that close to the zenith. So that's out. Let me see. Dear. Okay. So Deerlick group is good. That's a yes, possible. And then let me see. That's going to be, I'm going to do this tomorrow. But so now that I have this ability to, if you see what I did here, let me make sure that's okay. If you see what I did here, when I was saving the individual frames from the Seestar, not the Seestar wasn't involved with it. The Seestar was generating the frames and it was sending it to SSC, the web interface and the back end of it. And that was what was generating the FITS files and saving them to my computer. And I have it set up where it's just a frames directory so it doesn't clutter up the home directory. I have the telescope, which is named Seestar A, and I just have it under a lights directory, and then it's got all the frames. So that works fine. It doesn't have the target name currently. I plan on fixing that, hopefully before tomorrow. Because what I want to do is I want to have both of the Seestars going at the same target, and I want to have them dumping all their frames to the same directory, and then I run the live stacking locally. So that way I can basically, so I'll be accumulating data even faster than the Seestar. I mean, because I'll have multiple Seestar, like 2 Seestars dumping frames into one directory, like real time, and then stack it. So that's the plan. But that's going to be for tomorrow. And I'm going to do, I have on my list to do 2 different targets. One, NGC 281, which is the Pac-Man Nebula, and the other is IC 1795 Fishhead Nebula. And so I'm going to do, that'll be tomorrow. 2 telescopes, 1 target, live stacking locally. I think that'll work. But what I'm going to do tonight, and I should do the Veil Nebula mosaic first. But what I'm going to do now is the Deerlick group. Okay. Okay, so they're both stacking. This is interesting. Like neither it's whatever I had them pointed at, it drifted, but they've drifted to about the same point because you can see these stars like this two and then this pattern, this two and this pattern. And they're live stacking the same area, but this one has a much worse failure rate, which is weird. But um let's see. Yeah, yeah, I think the Seestar generally doesn't like over 85 degrees. Yeah, and it's not happy with field rotation. I think it just generally gives up on it. Yeah, because at least in the app, I know the Seestar app, if you try to pick something that's above, I think 85 degrees, it'll say won't do it. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. That's a good idea. Seiko, as always, very helpful suggestions. I'm going to make a note for tomorrow or not for tomorrow, but make a note for some things to um, improvements, flag events as errors, or flag errors in event log as red. Yeah. Marco asked about mosaics, 35%. Wiley Site said 40 50% if you're in alt-as. I always run at 50% overlap. Yeah. Yeah, hard nebula at 30%. If you're doing alt-as, that's not enough. Yeah. And if you're doing EQ, you can have a much lower number. Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah, that was one thing I ran into pretty early on when I first started using mosaic mode. Yeah, you have to I had set the overlap to a very low value and it like I was like 10% overlap. It's like like what's funny is the rotation's so severe, like I ended up with panels that didn't actually touch, which was pretty funny because the overlap was so little that and with the rotation was just wrong and it ended up like the panels were separated. Yeah, and then yeah, closer to the pole the field rotation um or even yeah. Okay. So I'm going to stop both of these now. And unfortunately, although I have a record, I don't have a stop. So the way I do stop is I go to this and I go none, none. So I'm stopping the live view, the recording. It's not live view. Well, I stopped the live view, but I'm also stopping the recording. But what I want to do is go to, so we're going to take, so we're on Federation. I'm going to go, you know, this is weird. This is very weird. Running into some, that's very strange. I think the menu's getting confused. I'm going to go to Federation. And then I'm going to run a schedule. And I've never done this before. I know others have been testing this out. Okay, great. That'll be great. Thank you. Yeah, that'll be great. So let me pull up my Deer Lake group. And this is going to be my first Deer Lake. Okay. So I'm copying it from my, we're going to do something a little different tonight. I'm going to do this. And this is the right ascension. And it's a 1 RA by 2 declination panel. I've done this on other nights, but what I had to do before is I had to define this mosaic twice, one for each telescope, and then I selected the panels. I had one set to one, because it's a 1x2 mosaic. It's relatively straightforward. I set one telescope to be, I put 1 1 here, and the other I put 1 2. But we're not going to do that tonight. We're just going to enter this once. Not going to specify panels. Use J2000. Split mosaic across multiple Seestars. I'm on this Federation mode, so that you have to be on the Federation telescope, not like if you have multiple. I mean, it only does something if you have more than one telescope, but if you have more than one Seestar, so we're going to split it, and I'm going to try doing, let's see what, let's try doing, so I think I've been, how long have I been running this? I've been running this, oops, wrong. I've been doing this 5,400 seconds, but now I can go 90 minutes instead of typing 5,400. Leave light pollution off. I'm not going to autofocus. So I've defined a mosaic under the schedule, under the federated scheduler. And yeah, I think that's all right. Again, this is the first time I've done this, so we'll see if it works. If not, I'll be sad. No, I'll have to just re-enter it or try it again. Okay, so submit that. It added. And oh, and another thing that's been changed, speaking of little enhancements and big and small enhancements, notice the it now has these checkboxes here. Not to edit it, but just to, instead of having the word true or false, it has like a little indicator. So got no autofocus, or wait, yeah, no autofocus, no light pollution. The alignment's a little off, but that might be my browser. Need to make the target name. Okay, maybe that's, yeah, I mean, and it's kind of one thing that's definitely tricky with a lot of this. Like, you can make it just kind of be arbitrarily big, but then it'll be bad if you're using a phone or a tablet, because it'll be just way too big. So it's kind of like having tables that work nice on desktop browsers but also work well on phones is hard. Yeah, you can specify minutes now, which I actually did. I typed 90 m down here, and it expanded to 540 seconds. Yeah, you can do 1 hour, or you can do 30 minutes, 30 m. Yeah, that was another very recent, very recent enhancement. Like this project, yeah, this project is kind of going fast. I mean, like I let me show you real quick. I went to it up to 764 commits, right? And so this is today. This was yesterday. So let's go back to, what was Monday? Monday was the 23rd. So okay, so like all these commits, and then all of these, and then all of these. So like over 2 full screens of commits in just this since Monday. Like it's kind of crazy. Like I've been having a hard time keeping up with it, because I'll just see, like I'll see the mentions of stuff, and it's like, oh, well, that's cool. Like that. Okay. Yeah. Fix the time. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, you can do 5 hours. Yeah. Or a mixture of hours and minutes. Yeah, there's a lot going on very quickly. Like I say, when I I had pulled the code yesterday, and then I pulled it again this evening, and I think there was like 25 commits since yesterday. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's really rounding out. So, okay. Oh, and there's some other stuff in the works too. That yeah, there's like a new. I mean, like that config screen is kind of a work in progress. That's kind of, I don't know if it's quite a preview. Maybe it's official. I don't know, because I see these things show up. I mean, it's checked in, so you can get to it. Um, but then there's some other stuff that's probably going to be showing up in the next day or two that I know is in works. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. I think I just need to start it. Okay. So yeah, the config is not official yet. Well, so I just showed it. Okay, so I hit start. Did I actually start it? Um, did I actually start this? Like some stuff's going crazy here, so let me go look. Oh, it okay, so that's a question I have. It didn't give any feedback. Is that expected? Um, yeah, flag it as experimental and put it in drop down maybe. Yeah. And Wiley Site said it's a lot of little commits, but it's still like a lot of them are adding value pretty quickly. Okay, so now we're going to two different, and actually, yeah, so you can see this coming, the status updates. And so once this gets kind of locked in, yeah, I have some other things to talk about, as always. Some things that I haven't done yet, but that I will be doing. Okay, continuous exposure. Did it fail? Solving. Oh, okay, it's doing the 3 alignment, which is annoying, but hopefully it won't fail. So this is still doing a go to. And I sometimes I forget I can bring up so we can watch what it's doing. So theoretically this should be like, why is this one still solve failed? That's not great. Oh, maybe it's because it's off on the position and it failed because it thought it was pointing at the right point, but it wasn't. One thing, because the skies are getting darker earlier, yeah, I could potentially even move the live stream back. I mean, I don't know if I'll do it in 15-minute increments, but I thought about doing it in 15-minute increments. I started the stream tonight at 8:30 local time. I could move it to 8:15 tomorrow, and that would still give me some time to try to do the initial calibration ahead of time, so then it's not wasting time at the beginning of the stream. Maybe I'll try that. And worst comes to worst, I do the calibration at the beginning of the stream. Okay. always a good start when it drops the first frame and the second frame. And this one is still going to. Which one is this one? This is the second one, okay. Huh. Hopefully it's figuring it out. But at the very least, you kind of get the idea. It's kind of, I entered the mosaic information once, 2 telescopes hit go, and it's doing a different panel. So it's got it's doing the 1-1 panel here and the 1-2 panel there. And I didn't do anything to do that. And you can see the coordinates are about the same. Like the RA is the same, but the declination is off a little bit, which you would expect because it's a 1 RA by 2 dec panel. Oh man, Sol failed. I wonder if it's because I was messing around with the preview. I think that's probably why. Let me go. I mean the preview time, and it's in my skies that it's too little time for it to plate solve. Let me go look and see what the setting is there. That would be funny. No, it says 500, but maybe it's because I set the other one to, did I set the other one to like 2000? Let me do that. Change this one to 2000. And maybe I'll just kick this one off manually, since it should theoretically be in the right position. Okay, there are more stars there. There weren't many stars before. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to record and see the events immediately start showing up. I mean, this is very raw. And I'll show you what actually prompted this this event viewer in a bit. Okay, so this is doing the 3-point alignment. This is just showing the preview. So I'm gonna go, just gonna go over to this for a moment. And let me look. I'm just looking at the logs to see if it's doing the right thing. I made some changes. I had previously made some changes. Oh, what? It threw an error. Oh, interesting. I had previously made some changes where if you moved away from live view for any period of time, it would kind of shut down the background imaging system. So it kind of free up resources, but it also kind of, okay, yeah. Okay, so that's working. Okay, and this is stacking. And of course, this one, it makes no sense. Like this one's having a higher failure rate. Although I thought this one had the higher failure rate or the lower failure rate before, and this one had a high failure rate. It's very strange. I'm gonna wait one more frame here. Okay. Like you shouldn't have to do what I'm doing here, but it's because of the code still needs to be worked on. Is it actually going to load? That's the question. Yeah, sorry. There we go. And did it do the right thing? Because this right here, I think is Stephen's quintet. But I'm just trying to match up these two panels because they should overlap. Unless it just completely messed up, which is possible. Oh, yeah, let me look at the... It claims the RA is about the same and the declination is off by a bit, which is what you would want. Well, we'll see. And really, the only reason it had issues wasn't because of the software itself. It was because the calibration hadn't been done, hadn't succeeded before. So we'll let this go for a bit. And unlike previous attempts where I would try to do a mosaic and it had started going and the telescope itself was imaging, but then I restarted the software, the Seestar Alp, and because it keeps the schedule in memory, it ended up kind of losing the schedule. I haven't restarted it since I've gotten this mosaic going, so that's good. So theoretically, I should just be able to, it should run to completion unless I stop it sooner. I'm just looking at what it's imaging. I mean, these gradients I get are just like, this looks like there's a beam in the middle of it, but which could be. Yeah, let me have a drink of water here while I ponder the mosaic. But yeah, tomorrow definitely I'll try to get the calibration done beforehand and then have it saving the frames locally and do federation, point at one target, and then live stack locally on my computer using the images from both telescopes. It'll be an interesting experiment. Yeah, there's plate solve. I mean, like, a plate solve image then go to, well, I mean, theoretically, it doesn't, well, okay, it doesn't, like, we send the Seestar the coordinates and then it plate solves for those coordinates, but I mean, if you figured out the coordinates you wanted to go to, like using Stellarium, because if you use the built-in lookup, it's using Simbad for that, and it's picking like the central point or whatever, I guess, of the target. I mean, especially if it's an extended target. I mean, if it's a star, it's the star, but if it's a galaxy, it's the center of the galaxy. But if you want to do custom framing, you would have to today figure out the center coordinate in Stellarium and then enter that manually, the RA and DEC, which is kind of what I did here. Like, these coordinates I entered for the Dirichlet group were something I figured out because you can't, like, if I go, let me turn on the field of view. So if I go look at Dirichlet group here, okay, it picks that specific galaxy, NGC 7331. But then if I pick Stevens, is it PH? Stevens Quintet, well, that's here. And so for me to do a mosaic, what I did is I picked like a point here and entered those coordinates in and said do a mosaic around it, and then it because it's like an RA and DEC, like it did, one panel here and then one panel here or something like that. So I mean, that's how you have to do it now. That said, yeah, I'm not gonna yeah, well, and then you can enter the coordinates, which is what I did, or well, at least I mentioned. There is the ability in Stellarium to remotely control, like you have to configure it, but the Seestar Alp will talk to Stellarium. Yeah, what he said. Yeah. Now I personally just kind of eyeballed it and picked a point and then entered that. Actually, let me turn off this, turn that on. Okay. Yeah. Well, or in the case of like Stellarium, you kind of pick the point in Stellarium and then it automatically will go into, well, you pick, like there's a button to do it. Let me see. Oh, whoa. That was a mistake. So if you go, yeah, so like you can look it up or you could retrieve RA deck from Stellarium. That's one way of doing it. And then there's, yeah, that's one way to do it. But as far as something more featureful, there may be, yeah, there, yeah, I'm not gonna talk about things that may or may not get added, but it's been discussed better ways of doing that. Oh, another thing that's been added that I haven't shown yet, and I don't remember when this was added. So here I'm on this Federation schedule, and see this button, hide show clear sky. It's got the clear sky chart. Now, it doesn't do it automatically. It doesn't pick your city. But what I did is I went to the website that has these clear sky charts and I added it to my configuration. Here. Yeah, this one I need to fix. That's the other. That's a place in California, but the image I set to a Houston one. And so yeah, you can just look at the clear skies in line, which is nice. Yeah, it would be nice if, yeah, of the city code it uses. Yeah, because otherwise you end up going to this website here. Yeah, so here's the Livermore one. And then where was it? You can look at all of them. And so you can search. Well, actually, I wonder if there's a way to tie into this. But what I ended up doing is like, okay, Texas, and then I found there's like a map way of doing it, but then I ended up picking Houston, and then I kind of right clicked and copied the image location, and yeah, but it's something you do once and add to the configuration file. But it's nice that it's in line. Like once you get it set up, like that's the current clear sky conditions. So I can just go look here and say, okay, I can be imaging all night if I want to. But yeah. You could, if next year you can just solve this year's images. Oh. Are you saying like you give it an image, it plate solves, and then you go to that image, go to those coordinates? Is that what you're saying, Seiko? I mean, it's an interesting idea. It's a very interesting idea. Let me go look at the state of these. Yeah, I think it ended up doing something weird with the coordinates. So, but that's okay. I'll leave it run for a bit. Because really there should be a galaxy. I'm just comparing the two images to see if I can see any overlap. I mean, this panel definitely has Stephen's quintet, like right there. That's the quintet. But this thing I don't think is pointing at the right point. But yeah, that's okay. Anyway, so that is imaging. One of the, I haven't done anything with the Seestar ALP, the Raspberry Pi image in a while, mostly because there's been a lot of development. I haven't kind of gotten, I've wanted to include live view in it, and it's not kind of in the state I wanted it to be in. It's getting close now. But, uh, and I had mentioned this last time. There's, well, others have mentioned it to me, and I started looking into this, where is it? The Quarks. It's basically the QHY has a astro computer, and they're coming out with they're working on a new, it's basically kind of the software competitor. It's a competitor to like the ASI Air, but like the software for it. So the ASI Air is kind of like a Raspberry Pi with some extra custom hardware that's good for running telescopes. But the QHY, and QHY had some hardware like that, but they're coming out with a new uh, kind of image distribution for, it'll run on Raspberry Pis. It's called Quarks. Anyhow, there's Dylan O'Donnell had done a video about it. Actually, he came up with another video about it that I need to look at. Let me see if I can find it. Did I actually? I think I'd actually pulled it up somewhere. Yeah. Is it this one? Yeah. I'll it's basically, let me go back. This was the video he came up with recently, where he, I guess, installed it on a Raspberry Pi. Anyhow, I want to, there's two things. I want to start experimenting with that image, put it on a Raspberry Pi, maybe demo it on one of the live streams in the upcoming week. I have a few ideas on things I want to do this weekend to kind of lay the groundwork to having maybe a little bit more interesting of a demo for me, and maybe not necessarily more interesting. Anyway, do it live. But I also want to get the Seestar ALP image running on on my Raspberry Pi again, or on a Raspberry Pi. And the problem is now, because I have this ability to live save images onto the computer that's running the Seestar ALP software, it could start using a lot of space very quickly. And plus, you know, it's kind of more intensive. And if I start running other stuff, I was a bit concerned. And I'd been wanting to make a run to Micro Center, and I finally did, because I had been running on a Raspberry Pi 4, but I went ahead and picked up a Raspberry Pi 5 today, and I also picked up like a tiny SSD, M2 SSD, so that'll give me a lot more horsepower to really kind of test out both Quarks and the Seestar ALP software. So we'll see how that goes, but that's going to be the weekend's project, and I don't think I'll have it in place for tomorrow's live stream, but I probably will do a live stream on Saturday. Like, it looks like, well, we can look it up in the software here real quickly. If I look up the clear sky view that was added, it looks like cloud cover is going to be good this on Saturday as well, tomorrow and Saturday. So I might end up doing a 3 for today, tomorrow, and Saturday. We'll see. But if that holds, then maybe I'll be able to do a demo of quarks on this Pi 5, or I'll do the live. Maybe I'll actually do that. Maybe I'll actually have enough time. No promises, but maybe I'll do tomorrow's test. No, I don't want to do that. Never mind. Because I want to do live stacking and I don't necessarily want to test that out on a Pi 5. Although it should be able to do it. But maybe I'll do, well, we'll see. I'll probably do something with it this weekend. Okay, so back to Seiko. Seiko suggestion. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, let me make note of that because I like that idea as well. I mean, there's different ideas that have been brought up, and there's ones that are kind of straightforward, and then ones that are a little more involved, and some of it is just a matter of figuring out how to structure it. But I do like that idea, so I want to try to capture that. Let's see, plate solve, given an image, plate solve it to figure out coordinates. That would be actually really cool. Because to be honest, I've had my Seestar for almost a year. I've actually thought about doing a video about that, about my impressions of having the Seestar for almost 12 months now. But I was thinking, and actually, this YouTube channel, now that I think about it, I've had for a while, but I really didn't post any videos of much of consequence. And they were just kind of, the reason it was random air one is I had posted like a small number, fairly random, just videos, just uploading stuff. But it really was about a year ago, next month, that I started posting regularly, and specifically on astronomy related topics. And it was the live. It was because of the eclipse, the annular eclipse that went over North America last October. So I'm coming up on a year of really kind of this channel in its current form. So I should do something about that. Let me make a note about that too. My 1 year, the channel's first birthday. It's not really. It's older than that, but a year of astronomy content. But yeah. Hi Red, how's it going? How are you? Okay, so what? So the Pi 5, that'll be interesting. And yeah, because I really want to. I ended up getting a few different things. Like you get the Pi, but then you have to get this M2 hat, which is hardware. What does it stand for? Anyway, something you attach to the Raspberry Pi, and it's the official Raspberry Pi one. There were third parties who made them, and there still are some. This is just the cheap one. It's like $12, and then I got an NVMe SSD, so it should be pretty cool. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Let me go back to the live view. So here's the view tonight. It's a little bit behind. It's over half an hour behind. Gonna refresh at some point. Is it? Did it have problems? Okay. Anyway, going back to the live view. This is running. They're both running. But again, this one is definitely Stevens Quintet right here. But I'm not convinced that this is actually the Deerlick group, because there should be a fairly bright galaxy in here, and I don't see it. And there should have been enough frames where it would have been visible. This is a terrible reject rate. Wow, that is really terrible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I had actually ordered the Seestar before the annular eclipse, and I had hoped it to show up for the eclipse because I wanted to test it out before the total eclipse. And it showed up like a week or two after the eclipse, I think. Um, yeah, about a week or two. So I wasn't able to test it for the annular eclipse, unfortunately. Um, but I'm glad I had it for the total eclipse. It was I ended up getting some footage from it that I didn't get from my other scopes. Um, and it was more, fire and forget. I didn't really have to work with it much. Yeah, this is kind of annoying, but that's okay. I might end up, because I'm not convinced that this is actually the correct mosaic because of the calibration issue. I may stop and go to another target. Look at this drop rate. This is just abysmal. Um, Let me see. It's the whole sky camera isn't even working, which is weird. I wonder if it crashed. It shouldn't have. Oh, grab an image or screenshot. Yeah, that's true. I could do it. Maybe I will. Let's do that. Let me just, or actually, I could just, let me save this. Nope. Let me just save it like this and go to here and hate that when that happens. Okay. Hi, Cosmic Ray. How are you doing? When and how are you guys going to do some platform and version control? Yeah. Well, there is version control. But we're there's improvements being made. Like one of them, I don't know if you saw it earlier, but like we've actually added or someone added at the kind of the version and this hash, so it's more easy for us to tell like what specific version of the code you're running if there's a problem. The other thing that's was added that I showed a bit ago that is still kind of an experimental feature, but I kind of I'm going to show it again. It's not officially released because it's not visible through the menu, but there's a way to edit the configuration, uh, the config.toml file, so you don't have to, like if you're running on a Raspberry Pi, you don't have to SSH to it. I also need to it. Your question reminds me that I keep saying I'm going to update the Raspberry Pi image I created with the very latest code. I kept putting it off because I was going to wait until the imaging was more stable, but I think there's now enough in there that I should just go ahead and do it. Yeah. Yep. 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 Oops. Sorry. But yeah. Hold on. I'm just making notes as usual. Update Pi image. I keep saying I'm going to do it and I haven't done it. That's on me. And actually, yeah. Yeah, so going back to, I was trying to play, I was going to that image. Where's the image? I am off screen here looking for the image I saved. And okay, got it. And let us look at, I could probably, no, I'm going to do it. Where is it? Sorry. Okay. Oops, did not mean to do that. Well, let's see if this works. Let me pull this off screen. See if I can get this working real quick. Hold on. Okay. Sometimes this website is slow. There's different ways I could be doing this, but I'm doing it this way. Okay. Oh, did I use the wrong account? I hope I... Okay, this is the right one. And let me check that. I should probably do this client side, but I use this all the time, so I can do it reasonably quickly. So let's see, open, go. Okay, so I'm gonna, it's thinking about it. So meanwhile, let me go back to this, and where's the best beta for a certain platform? What's the best version for the Pi? Yeah, okay, so so we haven't been, there have been tagged releases, but like as far as stable releases, I mean, again, because I think things are moving very quickly. We've had, dozens of commits just this past week. Sometimes things are kind of unstable. We should probably pause periodically. Not pause, but basically cut a versioned release, especially for the Raspberry Pi versions, especially for like the release versions where like for the Raspberry Pi image or the Windows version. Like we should yeah. No, I mean no, and it's so originally it started off where the only people who used it were a bit more, well, mostly it was people who were more proficient with development tools because that's what you needed to have installed to even get it running. And like our Raleigh created the Windows binary, which I think was great from a self-contained point of view. And there's been a lot of work on Raspberry Pi scripting to try to smooth out some of the rough edges. And I created an image to try to make it even more straightforward, but I haven't been good about updating it. I've done like 2 or 3 updates to it, and since the project's moving so quickly. But this has been a problem where we'll add some new functionality, but like the binary, like the Windows binary will be behind. And like just finding the point to actually cut a release to like version a commit and say, okay, this one is stable, stable-ish, and then have a binary for that. It wouldn't hurt. We should do that. I mean, we're moving fast, but it for people who don't want to, who are just trying to take images, yeah, it can be kind of jarring. So yeah, versioning, more consistent versioning. because really, yeah, I personally, it would be great to have as many people using this as possible, and it would hopefully help with the problems you've run into when you tried to suggest it to people on the Facebook group. I think it was you mentioned that, where people wanted to do a certain thing and you're like, oh, they wanted to do automation, and you said, oh, try this, and they're like, oh, yeah, like that would help with that. Yeah, thanks for raising that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Uh, oh, you hope tonight's stream is long? I wasn't, because it's Thursday. I mean, I work from home, so I try not to go too late. Um, tip like during the week. Uh, just partly because sometimes the mornings could be rough if I stay up too late. I wasn't probably gonna stream too late tonight. I mean, the conditions are good, but um, yeah, no. Beta testers? Everybody's a beta tester. Everybody who's using this is a beta tester. And what are the comments? They range from positive to like, yeah. No, I mean positive to like, this doesn't work for me. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, oh, so were you saying you were Chris makes that you said you were, so are you like dropping off and we'll be back? Okay. Cheap Astro, thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Yeah, it is late there for you, so good night. Have a good evening. Uh sleep well. Um but yeah, as far as tonight, uh Chris makes that. I'll probably stream tomorrow night. I Theoretically I might stream tomorrow night and Saturday night, and one of those two might end up being a particularly long stream. Um, I mean, not necessarily the longest stream I've ever done, but I think the longest stream I've ever done was like 6.5 hours. Although I think the last one I did was like 5 hours. Yeah, I need while the thing is taking photos, I kind of go off on tangents, but yeah, I need to redo this desk because like sitting in this chair is not ideal for that many hours. Um, like you'll see me make these kind of movements because like my back starts because like I'm looking here and my neck gets stiff and stuff. It's like the joys of as one gets older. Yeah. So let me see if this let me see if it plate solved this image. It did plate solve it. Okay. Um, the question is, where is it? And this will be interesting because we can see what it thinks, where it thinks it, or where the Seestar thinks it is versus where this actually is. So this says this is the center. So let me pull this window out. What did I just do? Let me see if I can pull this. Sorry. Separate tabs, pull out this window. Okay. So here is the plate solved version of it. And so let's go. Sorry, I'm kind of blank there for a moment. Let's go back to where the Seestar thinks it is. So this image, hold on. Okay. So it's at 22, of course, one's decimal, one's not. It looks close-ish because this is 31 degrees, 54, and this is 32:03, so it's only a few arc minutes off. And then this one is 22:23. So it looks like it's actually close. Oh, it's close, but is it where it should be pointing? That is the question. So that is, okay, let's see. Browse, do I do browse sky here? Will that actually do anything? Oh, hey, there we go. Where the heck is it pointing? Where is this pointing? What in the... Now? This is weird. I mean, it's a star field, but if it was pointing in the right place, it should have... There should be galaxies somewhere around here. This is bizarre. Hold on, let me switch back to my... Yeah, no, there's like dozens of there's dozens of people using it. But yeah, you make a very good point about we need to be more stable with our versioning, because especially given how quickly things are moving, I think it's yeah, I think it's I mean, it's a totally valid point. And as far as beta using, I mean, that was kind of the motivation for having the experimental flag for stuff that was kind of like, I wanted people to be able to test it out, but it was kind of broken, or I wasn't convinced that it wasn't slightly broken. Now, one thing like this new config screen that isn't 100% visible yet, I mean, it will allow you to then go like turn on and off experimental features, and we'll make that more clear. But I mean, that the nice thing about this is it would kind of, once this is kind of stabilized, we could, I mean, there's two ways of doing it. You either feature flag things, or you either cut releases, like stable releases, or you're just more consistent about feature flagging things. What you know, by that I mean, like in the case of the experimental flag, where that turns on live view. So that way someone could have the very latest code, but we would have things not quite ready for prime time behind a setting, but they could go in through this without having to edit a config file. They could go into this, check, you know, experimental, and look at that. Or we could rename it to beta or alpha. We could have alpha and beta features if you want to kind of live on the edge. And the code would still be there. It would just be turned off or not visible. Like in some cases, the stuff isn't visible. In other cases, it's actually shut stuff off. And that way we don't have to, I mean, since it's just a bunch of volunteer kind of best effort development, then we're not having to do like formal releases and things aren't being held up by other people, you know. Like if somebody wants to put something in and it's not 100%, they could, so long as it's feature flagged. So let me go back to Stellarium here. And how do you go to coordinate? Go to, is it search? Yeah, position. Got it. Okay, so coordinate system. What was the coordinate I have? This one, and let me move it over here. Okay, so I've got 22. Actually, what I need to do is, where is that? I'm going back to the solved image since it had the coordinates. Okay. This is I mean it's an interesting exercise to try to figure out. Okay, 23 and 42. Okay, and 31. Okay, I see a problem right here. 31 degrees 54 minutes and 15 seconds. Like that's actually quite a bit off. Okay, so what did it do? Where is the deer leg group? Oh, it's way down here. What? What? Like, it's not even close. Well, that explains it. Well, that's going to be the world's most useless mosaic there, so I'm going to stop this. Yeah, it's like put Stellarium in. Yep, it's off. It's way off. Okay, so that's not helpful. Or it was helpful to figure it out, but I know that there's no point in proceeding with this mosaic. So I will stop it, and I will stop this. Okay. And so let this think. And actually what I need to do, I'm going to do, it wouldn't be one of these live streams without doing a little live coding. And is that the row? Okay, fine. That's the row. Write that. Boom. Boom. Okay, now I have a vent stream in the bottom. Yeah, it was the one I manually started, but I thought at least like it was trying to find the coordinate or trying to go to the right place. And so I went ahead and forced the image, but it clearly wasn't in the right place. Its head was not in the right place. So, oh well. So what other targets do we want to try tonight? Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not going to do the live stack between the live stack of two telescopes with the same target on the computer. But I could go ahead and go to the same target twice, just as a test, a short test. Let me go look at this. So this is the Federation page. So I have a Federation page open here. This one I should shut down. A Federation page and then the two live views. Let's see if the all sky came back. Where's the all sky down for the count? I've had that happen. This happened before where it's like it crashes. Yeah, let me look off screen here. See if I can where it is. Yeah. Um although, wait a second. Yeah. No, I think it crashed, which is annoying. It doesn't happen that often, but it happens every once in a while. Unless, actually, that was the other thing I was going to check. No. Look at this. Discharging. It should not be discharging. That meant the battery pack I had this plugged into, it ran out of battery. The battery pack I had both telescopes and the all sky camera in died because it wouldn't be discharging otherwise. Well, that's annoying. Okay, so that last update was when it ran out of battery. All right, so yeah, it should be on target. Another happy ALP user. Well, thank you, True Freedom. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Does the same target stacked on one computer come close to interferometry? Probably not. I mean, so like, no, but so here's a thought. So here's something. It so this is kind of a wacky thought. Let me go to the next target. I'm going to keep that on stream while I ponder where I ponder this because I want to. There's something I want to bring up. So what we're going to do, I was swiping on on the desk here. My hand was like in front of the laptop, and I'm like, why isn't the mouse moving? And I'm like, oh, it's because I'm on the desk. Maybe I shouldn't stream super late tonight. Maybe I need to get some sleep. Okay, so what I want to do is go back to go to. I want to go, not go to. I want to do. I'm gonna do schedule. Actually, no. I'm gonna do image. I haven't tried this, so I'm gonna try. Actually, let me see. Yeah, no, I want to try. Which do I want to try? Let's see what NGC. NGC 281. Okay. It's not too high. Good. I'm just going to try this. This is a target I'm planning on doing tomorrow, but I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do the stacking locally on this one. Okay, and I'm turned on light pollution filter, and I'm just going to do, I'll do 20 minutes for that. 20 minutes. I'm so used to typing in seconds, I forget I can actually just type minutes now. Submit. And what is it doing? I just hit submit. Did it blow up? It didn't give me any feedback, but I think it's actually doing something. Or not? Yes, it actually did. It didn't give me feedback. But again, the Federation is relatively new. So let me go look at the yeah, so as far as interferometry, no. Like, I think to do that, you have to have a lot more precision. But one thing I had thought of, so this federation concept. So I'm just going to throw a few things out there, and people can say I'm crazy or whatever. But we had talked about. There's been discussion of, and I think with where Kai wants to go with this is to be able to have a single console and yeah, okay, I'm just checking to see that they're pointing at the right thing. A single console that's working with multiple telescopes, but they're not necessarily geographically co-located. So by that I mean I have two telescopes right now sitting in my backyard next to each other, same Wi-Fi network. But it would be handy to have different telescopes, control multiple telescopes not in the same area over the internet. And I was actually thinking, I don't know if he's thought about this. But one thought I had is I'm like, well, you know, if we have the same telescope, same model telescope controlled from one console, um, pointing at the same object, I was like, at the very least, like what would be, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out, maybe it's not enough. But I was thinking if we had people like a few thousand miles apart from each other, like how much parallax could you actually get between those telescopes for solar system objects? So definitely like how much could you get for the moon or like asteroids? And I was like, that could be kind of cool if we could somehow get some parallax between two telescopes, a few thousand miles apart from each other. But I haven't done the math to figure out if it even makes sense to try that. But it was a thought that I'm like, if you had multiple telescopes pointing at the same thing, thousands of miles apart, why not? I mean, like, if it's possible, that'd be cool. And so riddle me this. I had that terrible reject rate. Look at the reject rate now. Like both telescopes have, as of this instant, 0 drop frames. Makes no sense. Very, very strange. So I did not get a camera for the Pi 5. But that said, I say that, but let me try. I almost fell out of my chair. This is like a stool, so it's kind of elevated, and I leaned over and it started tipping. That would have been entertaining. You would have heard a crash, and I might not have come back. Let me not do that again. Anyway, I have an extra HQ camera that I haven't hooked up yet, and I was going to use it on one of my Pi 4s as another all sky camera, because unlike the other one, which has a fairly narrow field of view, this one actually has a pretty wide one. It's like a 120-degree lens, I think. There was somebody either on Discord or on the channel that like offline asked me about it, and they ended up getting the same lens, and the results look pretty good from where they live. My skies are pretty terrible, but yeah, I think I might hook that up. I'm gonna set it over with a pile of Raspberry Pi stuff. Maybe I'll do that this weekend too, and I'll have plenty of horsepower to do all of that. Yeah, do 20 minutes as well tomorrow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Doing apples to apples. Interferometry. Huh. I mean, let me look that up. I mean, it is. Yeah, I don't know what. I do think we could try parallax. Actually, I wonder parallax. Let me look something up real quick here. I'm not going to look it up on stream because it's kind of a little. Why does it keep doing that? Hold on a second. There is a lot of stuff out on the internet. I know everybody like that's obvious, but what does this do? Okay, that's not what I hold on a second. Wait. What? There really is a lot of stuff. I mean, I didn't claim it was an original thought, but the fact that there's a moon parallax calculator, the parallax of the moon expected between two observers on Earth. So let's see. Distance to the moon, radius to the moon, distance between the observers, 5,000 kilometers. Okay. Apparent shift is 1.3% of angular diameter. Shift across the sky is 20 arc minutes or 0.2 arc minutes. Wait, how big is the moon? That's not that much. It's like, so sorry, I'm doing math and my brain's fried. So it'd be 12 arc seconds? 12 arc seconds? Apparent shift of the moon percentage. Wait. Oh, right, wait. Percentage, wait, what is it? RE distance only? Anyway, that would be cool, especially like doing it with the moon. Like that would be easy if you could kind of, yeah, do a 3D photo of 3D video of the moon from two different observers. That would be cool. Anyway, although how would you? You'd have to image like it would be cool if you could image background stars. Yeah, get the resolution in between. Yeah. An array of scope on the moon. Yeah, I mean, yeah, something to consider. All right, so wow, look at this. Look at my drop frame rate. Why do I sometimes get this where I just like it was rejecting a majority of the frames previously, and now suddenly it's like, oh, I'm not going to reject anything. So what I need to do is go. It's not showing us the stacked view, so I'm going to go off that screen. And again, this is one of the reasons why it's still experimental. It's kind of one of my, at least now I don't have to restart the software. I just kind of go off the live view and it kind of resolves itself. Let's see. Is it still pulling images? Because theoretically it should stop. But I'm not convinced that it is actually stopped. Well, we'll see. If not, that's fine. Stack start. Temperature. Stack complete. It's thinking. Fraser Kane. Is it windy at all? I don't think it's windy. I don't think it's windy here. No, it's like 4-mile-per-hour winds. Like nothing. Yeah. Oh, that is great. I'm really happy that it didn't require more than that. That's great. Great, great, great. Yeah. Yeah, so you saw I opened an issue earlier. We need will somebody will look into fixing that because that's not good. Like we don't want people changing it to 1 millisecond and then suddenly they can't change it back without fiddling with the config file. So that's good. Great, great. Oh, sky. I did this before. It's not sky. Oop, not start. It's star. Let's try star. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Hey, 2 telescopes, same target. and again, the drop rate isn't bad, or the drop frame rate isn't bad at all. Like, I don't know why. And they're pretty close on where they think they're pointing. Like they're only off by a small amount of RA and fairly small amount of DEC, so that's good. That's good. I hate to do this. I might actually I have to go get something real quickly. I'll be right back. I'm going to leave the stream going. M74. Let me see. Really what I need to do is I need to have a Be Right Back thing. Oh, the Phantom Galaxy. I tried to get that, but I think the surface brightness at my sky is just too bright. Like I had problems. I have imaged it, but it takes a while. Actually, hold on. Actually, maybe I'll. Okay, so yeah, that would be yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I need to. One thing I might be doing before too long is I might end up not necessarily at a sky quite as dark as Wiley site, but I might end up visiting in the next few weeks a Bortle Force location and spending the night. So I if at all possible, I'm going to try to do it on a clear night, because that would be good. I mean, it'll be in sometime in October, maybe November, but probably October. And I might end up yeah, it depends. I'd also been debating going to this Bortle 1 location in New Mexico. And, there was a star party out there, but I'm not going for the star party. But I might end up, for a variety of reasons, I might end up out there anyway. So let me see. Let's see where we are. Okay, so Tech Gamer is asking about horizontal calibration. I am not qualified to talk about it, which is why Tech Gamer asked Wiley Site, and Wiley Site is answering. You basically do the 20 minutes and the skies are crap. That's unfortunate. Yeah, it looks like we might have a few good nights here. Luckily. This is interesting. Like, I'm imaging the same target and the colors are a little off between the two. Very strange. I wonder if one of them... Huh, it's very strange. Yeah, no. I mean, ideally I'd like to have, though, an away thing. Hold on, I'll be right back. I didn't actually go downstairs. I actually had someone bring me something. I'm basically I have a little case of indigestion. I think it was sitting here, and so, and pardon me, I need to do this where it doesn't make so much noise, but that's not my intent. It's so loud. Anyway, just need to eat a piece of cookie. So, Turf, whereabouts are you located? Because as part of the Federation thing that I mean, Kai has mentioned the Federation stuff, and I've been thinking about. I have a couple ideas on ways we can more easily make that happen, but so I'm not that lucky to be abducted by aliens, and I'm not planning on going to Roswell. Yeah, sorry, snack time. Sorry, it's just one of those things. I think I had eaten something, and I think sitting here, it was causing a little bit of, yeah. Anyway, sorry I didn't bring a cookie for others. Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think if it was that, or if it's because I swear like this one has this, like, looking in the inner area here. Yeah, maybe it's just the frame difference. I thought it. Yeah, I thought maybe there was a color cast difference, but maybe it's just that. Oh wow. Oops. That's frustrating. Eastern Colorado Plains. Okay. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. Like I say, I've been thinking about ways to possibly um, kind of manage the remote federation. I haven't shared my ideas with anybody yet because I want to kind of experiment with it first before because I'm not even 100% sure if it's possible to do the specific thing I want to do. I mean, there's multiple ways to do it, but the specific way I'm thinking of doing, which would be easier for people to set up, but yet secure. Yeah, I don't know how easy it's going to be or if it's even possible. So hopefully, once I get the live view stabilized, I might look at that because I'm interested in. And it would be cool to be able to remotely kind of combine telescopes, and I know Kai wants to do it too, so that would be cool. Coffee time. Or wait, coffee time. Sounds good. I'm not having coffee now because then I won't sleep at all. Yeah, maybe a slight difference in focus. That's one thing I didn't do. One thing I need to do tomorrow is like manually kick off a focus. You mentioned WireGuard. That's actually you're kind of on the right track of what I was thinking of. But I want to do it in a way that people don't that it like as little friction as possible. Yeah, but see, I want to try to avoid. Um, I want to try to avoid port forwarding or having, even if it was secure, just trying to like talk people through that. And there's so much different network equipment out there Yeah. And yeah, no, that's the other thing. I want to make it secure. Um, I don't want to run it through a central server. That's the other thing. Like I have a very specific thing. Wiley Site's kind of on the right track with WireGuard, but yeah, I mean, I would want it to be secure, easy opt-in, of course, only the ability to have it has to be relatively easy for people and works in a variety of conditions without having to worry about the firewall. Um, so yeah, yeah, yeah. As security, yeah, yeah. That's like the initial rooting. People figured out how to. Someone figured out how to root the early versions of it, and it was interesting. The yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna get too critical, but it was interesting. The mechanism and that worked. Yeah. Yeah, new target time. Yeah, both of them ended, but because it's kind of showing the last stack, it hasn't like changed. And yeah, it's actually stopped updating the time. So yeah, I noticed they both went to continuous exposure. So I was trying to get a bit more in my stomach to try to help with that, and I think that has helped. How would WireGuard work? Let me get to another target, and then I'll um or do I want to do maybe I do that 1795? Yeah, that should be visible. We'll do that. We'll do that. So I just go off live view. Actually, I don't need to go off live view. I can, well, I'll go off live view. And then I go back to the kind of this thing, and I'll do IC 1795, and we'll compare it tomorrow. Although I'm not 100% sure how I'll do that, but okay. Do 20 minutes light pollution filter. Maybe I'll do 30 minutes. Submit. Now it doesn't give any feedback here, I think because it was throwing an internal error. But I do like this new event thing. I know I'm biased, but it has been helpful because then it kind of it separates the telescope's logs. Because otherwise, if I go look at the main log, like there's so much going by in here, most of which I'm not necessarily bothered by. But this is like a little bit more manageable of a view. This is already stacking? That was fast. Wow. Huh. I guess the target isn't that much farther. Um, yeah, WireGuard. Yeah. WireGuard is the underlying protocol is good. I mean, WireGuard is yeah. Hold on, let me have more. Sorry. I had to do that because I just had like a little bit of yeah, I had some heartburn, and the only thing that fixes it is to have something fairly benign to kind of yeah. Anyway, um Boy, they're neck and neck. 4 frames, and then that one just went to 5. Yeah. 5 and 5, 5 and 6. Nice. Okay, so let's go back to the live view. Is it actually showing the stack, or is this just the preview? That would be annoying. Anyway, that was nice. I was sitting at a bar while my Seestar was imaging. Yeah, do I ever go to the HAS dark side? The last time I went was in the 1990s. It's been a while. But I went there a lot in the 80s and 90s, but I have not been there since then, unfortunately. I've thought about kind of rejoining HAS and going out there. I should. I really should. But yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I don't think it's showing the stacked view, but that's okay. Let me try going off of it, see if it fixes it again. Nice. Yeah, that HAS one is between here and San Antonio. So it's the Bortle isn't too bad. Oh, that's annoying. Windstar Casino. That's really unfortunate. But back to the WireGuard question. So WireGuard's a VPN. It's kind of intrinsically decentralized, but you still have to deal generally with either having a server that's outside the internet, or not outside a firewall, or you have to do like port forwarding on your router, which I want to avoid. So what I had, again, I haven't proved it out, but Tailscale, which is a commercial VPN, but it has a free for personal use version. It's based on WireGuard, but it adds a few things. One of the things about WireGuard is you have to kind of distribute the passwords, the keys between different instances, and you can have point to point, or you can do other authentication, but it can be kind of a hassle. At least when I used it last, distributing the keys. Tailscale kind of, it uses WireGuard for the point to point, but it kind of adds a control plane to it where it handles the authentication, the sharing of the keys, but it also supports it has firewall traversal built in, and they do have some centralized servers for particularly obnoxious firewalls, but sometimes they're able to use that firewall to basically, because if you're using UDP in the way UDP works, I guess because the way UDP works, you can punch a hole in a firewall, a bidirectional hole in a firewall using a third party, and then proceed without the third party, or something to that effect. Anyway, the net result is it kind of helps with the firewall traversal issue without somebody having to set up port forwarding. It supports a bunch of different kind of models, but one of the other things that's interesting about it is a lot of VPN software, you have to you install it on your computer and it's like a network device, and it's kind of, it runs a certain way. But I don't know. I think it's a wired guard thing, but Tailscale takes advantage of it. You can actually run it in user space, and like people will run it in cloud computers, like within like a, try not to get too much into jargon that's like not related to astronomy, but like a container on a server that has, that's on a Tailscale network, and nothing else on that server is part of that Tailscale network. So like the server itself doesn't even know that it's there. And the service itself is able to talk, to join a VPN without any system level stuff. So that's kind of the basic premise that I want to explore, is if it's possible, and I have reason to believe it might be, to basically have a user level network running that only that process will talk to, and it can punch its way through a firewall without the person needing to have a networking degree. Okay. Thanks for joining, Tech Gamer. Yeah, I should have a live stream tomorrow. I am highly certain I'll have a live stream tomorrow. So, unless the weather or something comes up, that's the plan. So thanks for joining tonight, and have a good evening. But yeah, anyway, so that's the basic premise, is that WireGuard, or not WireGuard specifically, but Tailscale. Anyway, that's the plan. But it might require a little bit of work, so it's not something. Yeah, you can run ALP in a container. Although I haven't done it recently, and I don't know if other people have done it recently, but it has been done. And I think there's a Docker file in the repo, but I personally haven't done it recently. I know some people have. Oh, getting clouds. That's annoying. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, the Docker file, it hasn't been updated in a while. Actually, it was showing cloudy Sunday night here. Now it's not. So I wonder if the stuff's more going to be up your area. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Although you can run Docker on Raspberry Pis, and I personally do it at home, so you could do both. But somebody would have to do that. And for most people, it might not be useful. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Oh, nice. So this will definitely be an interesting one to try doing the live stacking. Because, so right there, that's about 100 frames. I'm just taking a screenshot of this. I mean, I know I could always do other ways of, look at it other ways, but yeah, so cumulatively, that's almost 100 frames. So it'll be interesting to live stack this on the computer tomorrow with both telescopes. Yeah, that could be really interesting. Hmm. All right. Yeah, I might. Yeah, so the remote federation, I'm definitely very interested in doing because I think if we do it, if we do it right, it could be good. And again, I don't understand. I was having such a bad rejection rate or a drop frame rate in the beginning, and now, I mean, look at this. There's been 0 drop frames, like across both telescopes. That's just weird. Very, very strange. Don't pretend to understand that at all. I mean, maybe it's the position in the sky, or maybe it's improving the calibration. I mean, I don't think it improves the calibration unless it does. It's very strange. Hmm. Very, very strange. Oh well. But yeah, I'll let this go for a bit. So I'm not gonna add the feature tonight. I thought I would initially, but there was one other thing. I wonder, let me look at the source code to see if there's any other new functions that of note that I haven't um, highlighted tonight. There's the confirmation dialog. Yeah, from the northeast, it's Helene. Yeah, it's because the hurricane hasn't made landfall yet. I mean, it's a terrible storm. Hold on. I'm getting stream inception here with multiple. Stop it. Um, I guess I have to, the way I have this set up, I have to open another window. Yeah, I guess the storm made landfall. It's bad. Yeah, it's, yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it made landfall. But yeah, the hurricane's going inland and is going to kind of go over, kind of drift to the west. And it's like earlier. I mean, I can show you right here. It was kind of weird. I was looking at Astrospheric, and so I'm here, but see this right here. That's the hurricane. That's the clouds from the edge of it. I mean, like it's the whole state away from here, um, but yeah, as it goes north and then kind of drifts to the west. Um, yeah, and I think that's why it was originally showing that we would have clouds here on Sunday. But I guess maybe it's drifting farther north or something. I don't know. But at least as of now, it's not showing clouds for us. And actually, like, look at that. It's like this is just amazing, like, condition wise, that through next weekend with only a little bit on Thursday, which I think was another front coming through. So, um, yeah. So I'm not going to do a live stream every night that it's clear, but I want to do a few and take advantage of it. And the other nights I'll be working on either coding to fix some of the live stream, live view bugs, and maybe I'll do a stream on Twitch just because I haven't done one of those in a few weeks. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but see, I'm not using the stock tripod on either one. That's a good idea. Although usually I keep mine completely on the tripod. Sometimes I'll actually just disconnect them from the tripod altogether to if I'm having it sitting next to me, but usually I'll have it on the big tripod sitting next to me, like I'm sitting on a sofa and the thing's like, up high. Yeah, okay, it made landfall. Yeah. It looked to be about as bad as they said it would be, at least wind speed wise. Yeah. I mean, didn't we? I think we were looking at that. What do you call it? Was it Thingiverse? Seestar. Let's try Seestar. Was it on Thingiverse? Yeah, this thing. Although it looks like they attach this to this pole. But that was kind of interesting. Yeah, that's fair. Don't leave it in EQ mode, kind of putting too much torque on the axle or whatever. But yeah, this is kind of an interesting one. Attach the Seestar to the side of a metal pole using magnets. PVC pipe. Oh, 1¼ inch magnets. Also use tripod leveler. Huh. That's kind of interesting. Nice. It has the bird feeder hanging from it. It looks like. Okay. Wow. Look at those magnets. Oh, hey, Chris makes that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, so that's the thing. The Federation is useful for. I mean, the one thing it did add was we had kind of this offline mode. Um, and so the Federation kind of works like that. So if you're scheduling something without the telescope being on, you could do it in Federation mode. But yeah, it's mostly a um, yeah, 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 okay. Sorry, I see what you're saying, cosmic ray. Yeah. I mean, again, because we're a small group of people. That said, I mean, like how with some products like Windows and other things, not to use that example, but where they have different channels where you can have kind of an experimental branch. Is it experimental? What was the thing they call? I mean, Wiley's site will probably chime in where they have insiders. It was insiders, the insiders channel with some of the Windows, some of the Microsoft products. So there could be like a flag or something, or maybe it's based on how we tag it. And yeah, like the Federation isn't necessarily going to be super useful for people with single scopes, which is the majority of people, unless we kind of rebrand it for offline use. But yeah. Sorry, I need to drink some water. That's that cookie I had. And for those who were curious what the heck that cookie was, it was, if you live in the US, um it's nothing earth shattering. It was like Little Debbie's cookie that we get by the box. I never ate them as kids, but we've gotten them. It's like an oatmeal cookie, cream filled. For some reason, like I think my mom picked them up for the kids, and I ended up getting hooked on them. So yeah, um, but I figured the oatmeal kind of thing might help with the heartburn. But in case you were wondering what that concoction was, I was drinking, eating. Um. So yeah. Uh. I mean, you make good. I need to think about that some more because yeah. I mean, I want to, and I've said this many times. I've said it here. I've said it to other people. My goal, my personal goal. It's not my project. I've just have been one. I'm just one of the contributors, but my personal goal is I'd like to see this used by as many people and make it as easy as possible for people to use it. Um, yeah, I just had another strange thought, but I'm going to make a note of this one because I'm not even going to. Um, oops. Um, but yeah, I want it to be. I want it to be as approachable as possible for people, and there's a lot of work to do that. Um, um, yeah, maybe that's the. It was. Wait a second. My thought, the thing that popped in my head is the Facebook group test. You know, is it in a state where you can suggest it in the Facebook group without being heckled? um, maybe that's the point where we've got it to the point where it's approachable and stable for people who are starting with it. Um, and even then, it's not even like expertise level. I mean, there's plenty of times where I don't want to, I can't be, I don't want to be dealing with unstable software, especially if I'm imaging stuff. I mean, I know like Wiley Site, sometimes he doesn't have his dev version running because he wants to actually image. Whereas for me, I tend to live on the edge and just image things with my unchecked in changes, and then it breaks in the middle. Um, yeah, okay, so offline is still kind of there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but I mean, I do want it to be as stable as possible and approachable as possible, and yet satisfying and useful for everybody. Photo hangers. Okay. Yeah, that might be interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's hard to track it. I mean, like we're adding we're adding a lot of new features very quickly, and um, I mean, for me personally, I I I always want to. There's always something in one of the newest versions that I want to run, which is kind of why I stopped the Raspberry Pi. And actually, so like there's an update script in the Raspberry Pi, and I've thought about that too, where like if we had this idea of channels, like we could potentially allow the Raspberry Pi or like allow the user to push a button and it would software would update itself. But that way, if you had it like, because ideally I'd only want to do it if it was fairly reliable, where you wouldn't end up with a Pi in a state where you couldn't where you had to log into it like through SSH. That would be my ideal, where you kind of have it updated to the latest stable version, and then you don't have to worry about bricking it, or not bricking it, but getting it to the point where you have to SSH in or whatever. ASI Air. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. You always come up with some good some uh enter I like some of your suggestions. Yeah, I was get heckled. Well, yeah, like I was saying, I haven't been on the Facebook group much recently, so um I mean, I don't go on Facebook that often anyway. I'm just, I don't know. I have a YouTube addiction I have to feed, so I don't have time for Facebook. Um yeah. Yeah, but I mean like, but that's the thing. I want to try to make it like not necessarily where somebody who's like I definitely want to make it easier, a lot easier. Like that's why I like that the whole I like the whole idea of the executable for Windows, because potentially it could be where you just download it, run it, and then point the browser at it. Like it's not super complicated. I mean, sure, it's not like the lowest level of technical knowledge, but it's fairly easy level of technical knowledge. That said, there have been some rough edges around it, and definitely the same thing with the Seestar Alp. But yeah, I think the problem is not the problem, but we're adding features, but we haven't. And I know I'm just as guilty of this as anybody, if not more so at times. I have on multiple occasions broken the main branch, like in pretty significant ways with a commit, like not a screen, but like something pretty like I broke everything. And I would catch it quickly sometimes. There's been a few times where I'm like, oh, hey, check this out. And in one of that's the good thing. Whenever I do certain things, I do try to mention it to people on Discord so somebody else looks at it. And there've been quite a few times where I've broken it, which is definitely not ideal. And I guess that would be fine if there's like Cosmic Race, like you said, like a dev channel where that's just basically the latest code, and you're kind of, it might break. If it breaks, you get to keep both pieces. um, but for everybody else, it's and to be honest, it's kind of a it puts bird it could be potentially a bad user experience. It could potentially turn someone off from it, and it also causes us extra, like us trying to help fix things. Um, that said, I wouldn't be surprised. Well, we'll see. Famous last words. I was about to say, we're getting to the point where I feel like we've covered a lot of ground, a lot of functionality we'd want to add. And there's a few things coming where I could see maybe it'll level off a bit, where we can work on refining things. But we'll see. We'll see. Seestar image database to keep track of 100,000. Huh. Is that a feature request, Cosmic Ray, or an idea, or is this something you've seen? Yeah. Oh, I'm like, just see, I forgot. Okay, it's still stacking. Oh, no, it just stopped. because it was like going to stack for half an hour. Okay, so this is the finished result. So let me take a screenshot of this. I know I should do this a better way, but this is the way I'm doing it. Mostly so when I do this tomorrow with the computer side stacking, I can compare it with this. But I definitely need to calibrate and focus both telescopes ahead of time if possible. And I still am on the fence on if I get another one. Speaking of which, there was a teaser for was it on Twitter for a new Seestar, the S30, or at least that's what the thought is. Um, Twitter. I'm not gonna call it X. Yeah, here. This. They just all they did is post an image. Yeah, coming soon. And I think the thought is based on some people somewhere looking at the firmware or like the beta firmware that or the firmware that comes with the beta version of the app or something. I don't know who, how they're figuring it out. But some people have said they saw mention, and people do it for other devices. They saw mention of like an S30. This might be more like a dwarf telescope. Like this is maybe the wide field camera, I think. And then this is the main, I mean, the wide field lens and camera. And then this is the main one. I don't know. But this was posted just yesterday or the day before. Yeah, like not quite 2 days ago, coming soon. So, I mean, if the what people are saying based on the firmware where this is the S30, like it's a smaller telescope, so that's fine. Especially if you recently bought an S50. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. So I'm debating, do I get another S50 or do I wait until this thing comes out and get one of these? I don't know. It's funny you mentioned COBOL, cosmic ray, because I mentioned it. I mentioned this on a Discord. We were talking about retro computing, and I mentioned it on this Discord server that there's a COBOL. um, what was it? There's actually. Oh man, where is it? Uh, it was it was invoking your cobalt. I mean, this is from a micro focus, but no, somebody came up with it where where you could just embed cobalt script, cobalt language compiler to JavaScript. Um, yeah. So it's funny you mentioned cobalt. I had brought it up in a Discord server. Nobody responded to me for some reason. I don't know why. I was like, we could write the front end in COBOL. Yeah, yeah. So Twitter, Instagram. Okay, okay. Let me look for that. Um, did they do it on? Uh, Comet, comet photos. Nice. No, that's not helping me. Um, Sorry. Uh, Let's see what Cloudy Night says. Um, and then of course people are like 70 to 80 with a guider. Yeah, no, probably not. Um, oh, wait, what am I looking at? That's weird. I'm just seeing if where the other. Wait, is that? Oh, somebody superimposed it over the. Sorry, somebody photoshopped the new telescope over the over over an existing one. Some of the crap features that they added in recent firmware, yeah. Unfortunately, we've had to work around some of them. Well, I say we, I didn't. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Someone on Facebook measured the new product. Um, I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah, it does look like you said, like maybe not quite 35, but a little bit over 30, a little bit over 3 centimeters. Um, Interesting. But I guess a lot of the, sorry, I'm just kind of seeing if there's any images. Anybody has any more images? Nope. Anyway, yeah, so that's coming out. So I've debated, well, do I get a third S50 or do I wait for this thing to come out and see how it works? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I to be honest, I take that with kind of a grain of salt. Wide field to avoid mosaics, maybe. That would be and it was on the Facebook group. I'm not pulling up my Facebook on here. Like that thing is my Facebook. That's maybe part of the reason why I don't go to Facebook. Some of my yeah, there's I get some weird stuff on Facebook. Yeah, take it with a pound of salt or a kilogram, half a kilogram. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see. And I have no idea. I mean, I guess the last one came out over a year ago. I mean, I got mine just under a year ago, but like other people had it months before, so um or the people who had the early versions of it. So it was out last summer, I guess. It started kind of getting sent out. So we'll see how long it takes for this one to go out. Um but yeah. So I guess that's my debate. I mean, I guess cuz since I have two of the same, I would be tempted to just wait and get one of these. Of course, that would be problematic from a mosaic point of view because if they would have totally different fields of view, and I mean you can combine them, but it would still be kind of yeah. Official release in October. Oh, right, right. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Although the first one I saw was that from yeah. So I don't know, but it was definitely about this time a year ago. So we'll see. And this really isn't like a replacement. Um, this isn't a replacement for the S50. Oh, that's cool. Got yours in January. Yeah, yeah. I got mine in late October, or early, or like the beginning of November, because I have images from early November, and I may have some from October, and I don't remember how the weather was. I know I got it after the eclipse, so it was after the partial slash annular solar eclipse last year. But it was before November 4th when I got it. So yeah, it's been just under a year for me. Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see when that comes out. Maybe I'll get it. So this is done. Do I want to do another target? I don't know. It's almost midnight here. I'm tempted to kind of call it an evening at this point. Since tomorrow I will be having a live stream, and since it's Friday night, I might go even longer, or it's highly likely I'll go longer, and I'll have things kind of lined up earlier tomorrow. I don't think I'll do anything with the Raspberry Pi before then, but you never know. I guess it all depends on how things go tomorrow afternoon. If I have some spare time, maybe I'll actually start working on this. But I have my my Pi 5, the hat, the 5. I almost got a 1 terabyte, but I ended up getting the 500 gig. It was $50, which I'm sure I could get better price maybe, but it was at Micro Center. I got it, and power supply, and then of course I've got the camera here, so maybe I'll put it all together tomorrow. Yeah, maybe I will. And yeah, that would be cool. But tomorrow, definitely, barring any unforeseen things, live stream tomorrow. I think I will do live stacking tomorrow. Live stacking on my computer tomorrow, which means I need to free up some space on my computer. I write these things down because otherwise I forget. It's kind of, anyway. So yeah, and then we'll do some comparison, do some testing, and it could be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that works. The one thing I haven't, and if you can think of anything, add it to the chat, or if you think of it afterwards, add a comment to this video. But one thing I would love to be able to do is live stack a mosaic based on the individual subframes, but I haven't come up with a great, like, the software I've looked at doesn't quite do it. Like, I want to say it was, I don't know if it was ASTAP or one of the other ones, where if it got a frame that was slightly offset, or if it was offset more than a certain amount, it would start a new mosaic. Or I mean, not a new mosaic. It would start a new stack, a new live stack. But I want to be able to live stack a mosaic. That would be that's my ideal. So if you can think of any software that does that, ideally on Windows, on Linux or Mac, because if it's Windows, I won't be able to do that tomorrow. Gonna replace the main OS driving my PC. Take a 512 gig. That would be cool. Add that to your Pi. One thing I didn't get, so it was a little bit more expensive. I might get it eventually, but this was like a $12 M2 hat for the Raspberry Pi. Only takes a single M2. There was a third-party one that takes 2 M2s that I had briefly considered. I might get one eventually, but it was funny when I went to Micro Center and I was like, "Oh, I need to get or I want a Pi 5," and they're like, "How many do you want?" I'm like, "Just one today." Yeah. Yeah, thanks for joining, Turf, and hopefully I'll see you next stream. Indie All Sky on a Raspberry Pi 5. That's cool. Okay. Right. Dang it. I might have to go back to Micro Center to get the cable. I forgot about that. Because I remember Does it have the same one as the Pi Zero? Because if so, I have one of those. Because I remember that was a problem with the Pi Zero. It has a narrower camera cable, and I had forgotten that the Pi 5 has a different camera cable because I only had like I've only had besides the zeros I haven't this was the first Pi 5 I've purchased. Yeah. Yeah, the problem is that when I looked at ASTAP it it didn't look like it would do it. Like if you it didn't look like it would live stack it. I mean, I know it'll do it'll do the astrometric kind of mosaics, but I don't think it does it live. Because that would be great if I had astrometric. Actually, I should look that up. Is there astrometric astrometric live stacking? Does SharpCap do it? I mean, I know that's doesn't help. Let's check live stacking. Yeah, let me make. Yeah. 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 See how it tapers like that? Dang it. Thanks for mentioning that, Cosmic Ray. I forgot about that because I mean, again, it was an abstract thing for me because I didn't have a Pi 5 until today. Um, the camera I was going to use, it's the HQ. This is an HQ camera. Um, so yeah, it's just the Raspberry Pi HQ camera with it's not like a ZWO based camera or something. It's just they're one that takes C and CS mount lenses. So it's just kind of the sensors in there. And this is just the lens that I added to it. Just trying to see if that's. Let me see. Let me see. Gosh. I mean, it wouldn't be the end of the world to have to go to Micro Center again. I think. I just wasn't planning on it. Oh, it is the same as the Pi Zero. Okay, so I need to just dig up. I think I have a couple of those in a box, so I might actually be able to get away without it then. Good. That's good. Okay. I mean, worst comes to worst, I go to Micro Center, get another one, but I at one point ages ago, I had a couple of Pi Zeros set up with Pi cameras on them. One of them was like a normal camera, and one of them was an IR. One of the Pi uh, no IR ones that don't have the IR filter in it. I had it for like a security camera in my home office to keep an eye on if my kids were sneaking in when I wasn't there. Yeah. Okay. So that's good to know. That's good. That's good. That's cool. Did a live stack with Cyril the other day. That's cool. Took a video of the live stack. Were you talking about that on a Discord on the Discord server? Because that sounds cool. The quality of the stack. Yeah, I imagine 1,500 subs. That's a lot. Um, let's see, live stacking. actually what I wanted to do, astrometric mosaic live stacking. We're all live stacked. But did they do each panel separately? I'm guessing they did each one separately. That's nice. Very nice. Because yeah, I was looking at a bunch of different software to see if they handled live stacking. Anyway, if anybody has any suggestions, I'm definitely open for it because I mean, I personally want to. Although I have some ideas if there isn't such a thing, but again, that's a future thing. Yeah, yeah, that's cool. That would be cool to see. Yeah, I mean, you can always put the video out there and have it unlisted. Like if you don't like if you just want to dump the raw video out there, you can always do it unlisted and then send people links to it. Um yeah. Yeah, so if anybody has any ideas for live stacking a mosaic, but not, but kind of like scattered where the images are scattered. I mean, like, because where you have multiple telescopes and the images, so it would have to be like astrometric stacking. That would be awesome. Um, anyway, like I say, I have some ideas on if there isn't such a thing. Um, but that would be good. And we'll do it all in, if not, I can write it in COBOL. Okay, maybe not. And yeah. So anyway, live stream tomorrow. I mean, from a gradient and kind of thing, but I'm more looking at just, I mean, I'm not looking for a polished result, but I just like to be able to just have telescopes feeding images and then it just kind of building up a mosaic. Kind of like how I turned on the kind of the old the unreleased mosaic mode on the Seestar, just to kind of watch it, kind of build up an image. I mean, it wouldn't be perfect, and it wouldn't be something that I would expect to do a finished product with. A finished image with. It's just more about kind of doing the EAA kind of thing, just building up stuff from multiple telescopes. Kind of like how I was. I mean, a simple example is like with that that failed attempt at the Deer Lick group and Stevens Quintet. It would be nice to be able to, instead of having two tabs open, have it feeding and building up in a single window. Anyway, I mean, I know this might not be a common thing for people to want, but it's something I've been wanting to do. Anyway, I think I will leave it at that tonight, unless anybody has anything else. If not, thank you all for joining tonight. I really do appreciate it. I will do another live stream tomorrow. I will probably start imaging sooner at the beginning of the stream, because I'm going to try not to grab the very latest code just before the stream. I'll try to grab it, a couple hours before at least. And then Seestar Sat Track. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so that like there's yeah. Satellite tracking. I actually was looking at something earlier today and that popped in my head and I was thinking, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. I think that would definitely be like either the developer version or the labs version of the software doing the kind of the more stuff. And thank you. I was negligent today. I didn't say it once, but thank you, Seiko, for bringing that up. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, so thank you all for joining tonight. And I will be doing this again tomorrow. And until then, hope you all have a good evening or day or whatever time it is where you are, and clear skies. Thanks.